Back to AM Jackson on WKHM, Jackson's News Talk 970 AM and 101.5 FM.
AM Jackson at 9:35 on News Talk 970 AM 101.5 FM, and it's that time. You get free legal advice with Wigod and Falzon. It's time for Legal Bites. Larry Falzon joining us in the studio. If you have that legal question that's just been gnawing at you, and you want to at least start getting some answers for, 787-3397 is the number to call here on Legal Bites. AM Jackson. Larry Falzon, good to see you. Welcome back.
Nice to see you. It's nice to see a little bit of the weather changing in Jackson.
Oh, man, I hope so.
We got to get some more sunshine out here.
We've been in this weird loop with the forecast, like a week out. The week out forecast has been phenomenal, right? Yeah. And by the time we actually get there, it's cloudy, it's rainy, it's crappy,
Whoever
so hopefully
said you could believe a weatherman.
I'm not a weatherman. I just play one on the radio. So that's what we go by here. So
right.
Things been well for you? Been staying busy?
Yeah, really busy. We got some things going out here in Jackson. We got a new a billboard campaign that's going to be starting soon. And you'll get to see my face on it, which is, I hope people don't get in crashes because of that.
Oh, no. But your buddy's name. You got to...
Bumstead.
Is Bumstead?
Yeah, he's excited.
Is he on the billboards too?
No, not yet. He's going to graduate there, though. I think he's probably got a better looking face than I do, so...
Well, Bumstead, I have to imagine that, because a lot of times when you're first going to see an attorney there's some uncertainties there, and some people could feel a certain amount of stress. I have to imagine that Bumstead makes people feel better when you're in your office.
Yeah, some. I mean, there's a lot of, there's mixed cultures in the area where we're at, and some cultures are not dog cultures, but typically Americans love dogs, and he's very friendly.
He is. He's a very well behaved dog.
Right. So you got to kind of gauge it, and he's really good at getting in the kennel when you say kennel up, and and so he'll do as he's told.
He's a full on bulldog, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gorgeous too, by the way. Gorgeous. All right. So, we've got a few things to talk about here today. Of course, if you have that legal question, 787-3397. But we're going to start off talking about motorcycles. I understand that you got a question that came in through the website specifically about this. What's the question?
Well, it was a general question.
Okay.
And it says, now that the weather's changing, I want to get my motorcycle out. What do I need to know about insurance? And it seems like a very simple question, but actually it's very complex because, believe it or not, in Michigan, motorcycles for insurance purposes are not considered motor vehicles. So to understand that, you got to go back to 1973 when they were putting the snowfall law together, and the insurance cartel in Michigan had a really big say in it, and they're figuring, well, if we've got to pay back then unlimited medical on every policy, motorcycles, if you get in an accident, it can be devastating, it can be life-changing. So they wanted to put the kibosh on motorcycle accidents by having them listed as a not a motor vehicle. So they got half their wish. If you're on a motorcycle and you go down for a variety of reasons, no fault doesn't cover you. But because of the way the law was written, if you're on a motorcycle and you're hit by a car, van, truck, bus, it's a motor vehicle accident. So no fault has to cover you. And the no fault carrier that covers you is typically the car that hits you.
Okay.
And if the car that hits you doesn't have insurance, you go to the insurance in your household.
Okay.
So nowadays, because the law changed in 2019, you still go to the car that hit you for your no fault. The problem is you're limited to whatever no fault limits they bought. So if you're driving a car and you said, I'm going cheap this year, and you buy the minimum policy of $50,000 and you cream a motorcyclist, that motorcyclist is limited to $50,000.
Wow. Okay.
So it's really the caveat is it doesn't, and it's not going to do you any good to try to get more insurance because you cannot buy no fault insurance for your motorcycle.
Okay.
So probably the best thing to do under those circumstances is to pray that you get hit by a car with a big policy.
Oh, come on.
Nonsense. Or you have to get yourself some medical insurance with a healthcare company.
Okay. What about, could you do this on a civil side of things?
If you're hit by a motor vehicle and your medical expenses exceed the $50,000 or whatever policy,
right.
Yes, you can take your excess economic losses against the person who hit you.
Okay.
But think about it. If they're going so cheap that they'll only get a $50,000 policy, their liability is probably around $50,000 or $1,000 or $100,000.
Right.
So it may not do you any good.
Right. Now you can't get grape juice from a raisin.
Yeah,
I get it.
Go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, well, all right. Well, let me ask you this. Let me kind of just go off the script a little bit. What about some of those other toys that only come out in the summertime, like boats or quads or any of that stuff? I mean, should people be getting insurance out on those things?
Right.
Or?
They should be getting insurance. Homeowners, generally speaking, people think, well, I got homeowners insurance. Homeowners, generally speaking, have a caveat in their policies. They will not cover recreational vehicles.
Okay.
So you can get insurance. For instance, I've got a boat. I get boating insurance. You can get, most companies, I believe, will give you a med pay coverage so that if you're injured in a boating accident, you can, typically it's $2,000, $5,000. It's not a lot.
Yeah. But
that's what you can get, and then you got to rely on your health care again.
Yeah. Well, you're not required to carry the insurance on said things, but you probably should.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
More importantly, if God forbid you hurt somebody on a motorcycle or a snowmobile or something, they can come after you. So you want to have liability insurance on those toys.
Okay. All right. Very good. So we're talking a little bit about motorcycle stuff and, of course, the no-fault stuff, too. We mentioned that. And are those rules changing again? Yeah,
they're constantly tweaking those based on the new culture we have with telephones and how everybody is kind of trying to make $1 off their telephones and apps, things like that. So I think the newest thing they're trying to tackle is these companies that have apps where you can, an individual, it's like an Airbnb for cars. You can rent a car from a person, a private owner.
Yeah.
And there's an app for it. I won't mention the name.
Yeah.
And you go on there and you say, I want to rent your car. Fine. They give you a code. You can go pick it up. You can get in. And they do have, you can buy their insurance.
Okay.
You can rely on your own insurance to a certain extent, but now the legislature is trying to tamp down on that and prevent no fault from having to pay for accidents, not allowing those vehicles to be insured that way. So they're probably going to segue is those people who want to do that are going to have to actually register as a business, rental business, and
that would make sense.
Yeah, it would. But it's like I know my brother's in South Carolina. He owned a taxi company, and they were devastated by these companies, who have apps that you can go get a ride on because they weren't.
The Ubers, the Lyfts, those kind of things.
They are not. Most states don't require them to do the same thing, have the same protections that the taxis do for their patrons. So they're getting away with a very low cost product that's in direct competition with the taxi cabs, and so he had to switch to medical transport. So.
Yeah, as a consumer, I could see wanting to maybe rent or borrow somebody's car through an app.
Yeah.
As a car owner, there is no way I am letting a complete stranger get behind the wheel of my truck,
Right.
I don't care how much they're willing to pay. The mirror's going to be all messed up. The seat's going to be wrong.
Right. The radio's going to be all screwed.
That's right. All my presets are going to be changed. I'm going to hate that.
Yeah,
no.
But the thing is that a lot of the A lot of these folks are actually, they're purchasing
getting
multiple
a handful.
cars,
Yeah.
and you're getting like, rent a junker or something.
Right, getting a handful. Well, I guess a similar experience with this. We haven't done it yet, but there was through an app. Again, I won't mention the name of it. There was through an app that we would rent campers through. And it was very convenient. I'd rent a camper close to the site that we were going to go, then maybe have to tow it for just 20 minutes or whatever and set it up. And it was so convenient, super nice. And it'd save some money, right? And, and we would actually buy the insurance. There's part of that process where you have to pay X number of dollars for whatever camper it was for insurance for the time that you had it.
Yeah. I don't think these new tweak laws are going to affect that, because a camper really is it's like having a trailer. I mean, you're really insuring the vehicle, yourself and your vehicle, not the camper.
Right.
So the camper having additional insurance, probably if there's damage to it, or if it's involved in an accident, it's really it's kind of an accessory. It's not really the car itself. So I don't think it's going to affect that.
All right.
You'll still be able to get your camper.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we haven't done it in a while. We're honestly, Larry, we're boring people. We don't go anywhere doing anything. We're boring people. And that's how I like it. Right.
Yeah, it's the office, and then
it's the office, and it's home.
That's basically it. I stop and see my 100-year-old mother. Evening, but that's it.
So, what else? Anything else going on?
Not really. Everything is just moving along, and look for those new billboards. Of course, you heard about the billboards first here on the radio. That's right.
So you've got your office here in Jackson.
Yep.
Okay.
Right on Main Street, and you can reach us at 877-2-GET-PAID or 248-356-3300. That gets you into the main office. And we come out and see you. You don't have to make any trips. You don't have to go anywhere. I'll come right to your house.
We're in this time of year. We mentioned the toys coming out, the seasonal toys coming out, but this is also a time of year where we're going to have people who are going to be having open houses. There's going to be more families getting together, more things happening at different locations. Accidents can happen. Are there things people should do to protect themselves?
Yes.
From these kind of things, from open houses, whatever, family get-togethers, whatever.
Right. Make sure you have good homeowners insurance.
Okay.
And my pet peeve is the barbecues. If you have kids running around, make sure those barbecues are secured.
Okay.
I've had several cases where kids are running, they get tripped up, they fall right into those barbecues, horrendous burn injuries. And for no reason other than, the adults are too busy yakking about the ball game and having another beer, and they're not looking after the kids. It changes their whole life. Devastating.
Wow.
So barbecues, open fires. Had a case where folks were having a fire in a pit. Somebody decided to get cute and throw an aerosol can in.
Oh, no.
Yep. It exploded and took out the guy's eyes forever. Permanent blindness.
Wow.
Just, common sense. Don't get crazy, and have somebody there who can, it's like a designated driver, have a designated adult that will,
Someone needs to be smart, because people tend to, I like to have a good time too.
Yeah.
People tend to get stupid when they're having a good time,
That's
I'm not
true.
saying I do, but
Right. Well,
I got to throw the disclaimer out there.
Yeah, I'm kind of past that. I've done stupid things.
But somebody's got to be smart, right?
Well, you just got to, use your brains.
Right. So there's that, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of other things for us to talk about as we roll on through the summer. But you got Legal Bites, Larry Falzon, Wigod and Falzon here on AM Jackson, NewsTalk 970 AM 101.5 FM. Any other items to discuss here today, or do we cover through? Okay.
Everybody have a great summer, and just be careful.
Absolutely. Once again, website, contact information, all that stuff our listeners need to know for Wigod and Falzon.
Yeah, WigodandFalzon.com, 877-2-GET-PAID. And if you want to know anything about the firm, it's on there. And anytime you call us, it's a free call, and we'll tell you what's going on.
Should people do stuff about their pets? I mean, you've got like the best well-behaved dog in the world. Seriously.
Right.
Yeah. Mine's going to jump on you and lick you to death. It's nowhere near as well-behaved as yours.
Well, I tell you, dog bite cases have fallen off.
Really?
Yeah, and it's really amazing. I I don't know why. I mean, it just, we used to see a lot more of them. I'm glad we don't, because they can be devastating, especially when kids get involved. But they seem to have fallen off. But, once again, you have good homeowners insurance and make sure your dogs are supervised. There's only one defense to a dog. Michigan has a statutory dog bite. In the old days, it used to be called, the common law was scienter. In other words, your dog got one free bite. Okay, if the dog never bit anyone before and it bit somebody, you were off the hook. If it bit twice, the second person is going to be able to collect. Now we have a dog bite statute that basically says if your dog bites somebody, you're liable.
Okay.
With one defense, if the person provokes the dog, and provocation is a jury question.
Okay.
Right.
All right. That's interesting. Didn't know. Can the penalties be harsher if you're not doing the things with your dog that you need to do? Like if it's not all caught up on its shots, if it's not licensed with the county. Well, do those things increase the penalties at all?
Then it bifurcates into the civil cases for the damages the dog causes, but the state or city, county, whatever, will confiscate your dog and put it to death if it doesn't have the right shots.
Gotcha. All right. Good deal. Hey,
all right.
Thanks for joining us today. Good to talk with you,
Mark.
as always.
Take it easy. Say hi to your wife.
Well, I definitely, for sure, every day. You're listening to AM Jackson on NewsTalk 970 AM 101.5 FM. Legal Bites with Larry Falzon, Wigod and Falzon.